Hello. Today we start with part 2 of our geography lesson on latitudes and longitudes. We will be covering the following topics today: the definition of longitudes, a detailed study of longitudes, the prime meridian, the international date line, and grids. Before we start, a short recap on what we learnt in our last lesson. We know that latitudes and longitudes are imaginary lines seen on globes and maps. The horizontal lines are called latitudes, while the vertical lines are called longitudes. These can be seen on the diagram provided on the slide. What are longitudes? Longitudes, as we know, are the vertical lines that are seen on the globe or maps. These lines run from the North Pole to the South Pole. These lines converge at the poles. This means that all lines of longitude meet at the North Pole and the South Pole. Lines of longitude are furthest apart at the equator, and as we move towards the poles, they get nearer to each other, as seen in the diagram provided. These lines are numbered from 0 to 180 degrees east or west. There are a total of 360 longitudes around the globe. There are two main lines of longitude: the prime meridian and the international date line. These two lines together form a circle around the earth. The prime meridian is marked as 0 degrees. This meridian passes through the Royal Observatory of Greenwich, near London. It is taken as the starting point of longitudes. Since it passes through Greenwich, it is also called the Greenwich Meridian. The time of a place is calculated with reference to the prime meridian and is called the Greenwich Mean Time. The other important line of longitude is the international date line. It lies on the opposite side of the prime meridian. Together with the prime meridian, it divides the earth into the eastern hemisphere and the western hemisphere. Latitudes and longitudes intersect each other. They form a network of lines called a grid. The grid on the map helps us to locate places. Take a look at the map provided. As you can see, there are many latitudes and longitudes passing through India. We can find out the latitudinal and longitudinal extent of our country. If we know the latitude and longitude of a place, we can locate it easily on a map. This brings us to the end of today's lesson and our chapter. Read chapter 1 in your textbook. Then solve the exercise provided to reinforce what you have learnt.